My name's Maya. I'm the photo manager of the Sagamore, and this is how you take a good photo. So you would start by trying to find out the time of an event, of like where the photo you're taking is, the place of the event, if it is an event or a person. And after you figure that out, if it is an event, you want to figure out where you can stand. If it's a football field, you want to gauge like where you can stand on the football field. If it's like, if you're going to like a musical or to an auditorium, you want to see where you can stand there too. So the key to that is like getting there a little bit early. It can be a little bit intimidating sometimes to get up in people's faces or like get really close to events, but you just have to be confident. And then the picture part, basically the most important part of photojournalism, or some of the most important parts of photojournalism, is capturing a moment that is something that you can portray from an article that you can't necessarily portray through words. So if you're taking your photo, you want to make sure that you're getting a bunch of photos, so you're going to be able to get that photo that kind of encapsulates the event. So if you're at a football game again, you don't want to get the picture of them like whatever, I don't know what that, like when they're kneeling the ball like before the play starts, like everyone can get that photo. So you want to make sure that you're trying to get a lot of photos. So to do that, if you're going to a sports game, you want to have shutter speed on. That has to do with your ISO, but that's a little bit complicated. So the best thing you can do is just change the function setting to the little running man. And that makes it so it will click a bunch of times so you get a bunch of photos. That changes your shutter speed. Also, when you're taking a photo, you want to make sure the subject isn't in the center of the photo. So always trying to get it either to the side and not make it you want it to be the focus of the picture, but not by being in the center of the photo. That's a little bit obvious. If you can, try to get your picture like bordered by certain like natural objects in the scene you're taking the photo in. So like if there are two trees or like two people, like you want the subject to be like in between those things. That's always a really creative way to take a photo. If you're taking a portrait, that's a lot harder, like of a person. You want to make sure you're also not getting them in the center of the photo. Make sure that the background has something to do with the person. The best setting for that would be this little face right there. This is universal for most cameras, most basic cameras. Also, if you're in like a very sunny setting, or if you're in a wide landscape, this is the form function you would use. Those all have to do with changing the ISO and the aperture of your camera. And then when it comes to editing, and then also like basic function is like, this is zoom on this camera, which is not as great. You would use this right here. That's zoom. Other basics, if you're taking a video, you always want to have it on the film setting right here, and then click this to start. That would be the same for this one. You want to have it on film setting, and then the same red button. It's pretty universal for every camera. To look at photos, it's always the button that looks like that, and then you just scroll using this. And those are the basics of using your camera. And then when it comes to editing, cropping and rotating pictures is really important. You always want to save the picture as a JPEG. And lastly, you never can edit a picture if you're going to use it as photojournalism. So that's why you want to make sure that you get the best photo you can when you're in the event or where you're supposed to be taking the photo. And that's all.